Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Gaming Speculator and welcome back to what I hope to be the final episode of Let's Play Crash Bandicoot Sane Trilogy. We've got a lot to cover. This is the final episode. There's many things I've wanted to discuss, so consider this not only the finale, but the bonus episode that I promised at the end of the Crash Bandicoot 3 Let's Play. Hard to believe it's been a year since I started this project. June 30th, 2017 saw the return of our fuzzy marsupial, and he's lived and thrived strongly on the PlayStation 4. But we're not here to talk about sales. That'd be boring. No, we've got stuff to discuss. Some interesting things I've missed. Let's jump right into it. First, I'd like to bring up Relics. Yeah, I went through Relics in Crash 3. I went for all 30 Platinum Relics, and boy, it was quite a challenge on my sanity. But I digress. I spoke at the end of my Crash 2 Let's Play about the Speed Shoes. In Sane Trilogy, when you defeat Dr. Cortex at the end of Crash 2, you're rewarded the Speed Shoes, the power-up that was originally from Crash Bandicoot Warped. And you better believe you know what I'm talking about when I bring up the Speed Shoes. Relics were added to Crash 1 and 2. They were originally debuted in Crash Bandicoot Warped. Sane Trilogy added Relics. And they are hard. Of course, it was no small feat, but I've been going after them. And of course, Platinum is my way to go. But during this Platinum run, I encountered a few interesting glitches that happened. And I just thought I'd show them off. So aside from those two little graphical hiccups, there's still more I'd like to discuss. In Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, on the original version on the PlayStation 1, whenever you fought the first boss, Tiny Tiger, in the Roman Colosseum, there was a trick that you could do to avoid the lions. If you stood on the leftmost part of the map, the lions would completely pass by you. This was considered cheesing the game. And Vicarious Visions, you sly devils, you paid homage to this. If you stand in the leftmost part of the map on the Sane Trilogy, the lab assistants will throw cheese at you, because you're cheesing the game. Clever. I like that. I didn't know about that prior to about a month ago, so that's a nice little tidbit. Next up, we're going to be talking about a little obscure, but still widely recognized character. I'm talking, of course, about Fake Crash. No, you did not hear me wrong. Fake Crash is his name, or Trash Bandicoot, as he's also been referred to as. What is this Fake Crash that I speak of? Well, Fake Crash is a character who exists solely because Naughty Dog members went on a trip to Japan. During the development of Crash Bandicoot Warped, they saw a fake bootleg plush of Crash in Japan, with huge eyebrows and absurdly spiked up teeth. Ever since then, they were inspired by this design and created the character Fake Crash. In Crash Bandicoot 3, if you were able to achieve all the crystals, all the gems, and at least gold relics, so you could have that 105% on your profile, Fake Crash would appear in 3 of the game's levels: Toad Village, Makin' Waves, and Hog Ride, levels 1, 5, and 8 respectively. He would be seen in an obscure area doing a somewhat Crash dance, not the same one that our normal Crash, if you can even call him normal, would do. Why am I bringing up this character? Well, Vicarious Visions has some strange obsession with the character, and he has been in all but one of their games that they developed. But we'll get down to that road eventually. But there's a reason that I brought this up. Fake Crash once again will appear in Toad Village, Making Waves, and Hog Ride if you have 105% on your Crash Bandicoot warped file. On top of that though, Vicarious Visions went and added some fake Crash cameos in the first Crash and Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back, as well as a couple more in Warped. So here's a little montage of all of his appearances. One final topic I'd like to discuss is something that happened exactly 364 days after the release of Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy. On June 29, 2018, Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy saw a multi-platform release, making its way onto the Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam. Crash has now been accessible across all of the main series platforms of today's era. And with that, an update file was posted for the PlayStation 4 version. It included faster loading times, which cut them down to a quarter of what they used to be. This was a big deal because the loading screens, as you wouldn't have been able to tell from my Let's Play due to me editing them out, were extremely long, anywhere from 40 seconds to nearing a minute. They were absurd. They're now, at most, 10 seconds, and I can't thank them enough for this. On top of this, they also added better lighting to the Crash Bandicoot 2 and Crash Bandicoot Warped cutscenes, making things look a little more similar to their PlayStation 1 counterparts. But with that update file, we got something truly special. If you go to the Warp Room in Crash 3 Warped, you'll find a new platform waiting between the first and second Warp Room. If you climb on it, you will be taken to a brand new warp zone with a level numbered 31 called Future Tense. And this is not a cut level from the original trilogy added in as DLC. This is a brand new level created by Vicarious Visions from the ground up. It was heavily inspired by a cut waterfall level from the first Crash game, but they decided to give their own spin on it through the power of the Future theme from Crash 3. It also gives it a nice daylight setting. So of course this was a blind run just like Stormy Ascent, marking this the second level to be added as DLC into the game. So now Crash 2 desperately needs some DLC, because Crash 1 and Crash 3 got levels, but Crash 2 is still lacking it. Vicarious Visions, if you add that, I will both be happy and sad, because I can't escape this trilogy no matter how hard I try. But no, this level's actually pretty cool. It's extremely challenging. I'd argue that I had an even harder time with this level than I did from Stormy Ascent, because you're expected to just find some of these obscure secrets, like this one up here we had to jump on top of the elevator. Who would have thought to do that? This level is really difficult to 100%. There are 2 gems in it, one of which is tied to a death route, and the death route is hidden really, really cleverly. I cut this down of all my failures, and I cut it down to about half. This video is roughly almost 10 minutes long. Yeah, 10 of those minutes were failures and death. This is a pretty challenging level. Now, I'm probably saying that due to the fact that I have not ever played this level before. It's brand new, obviously, so it's a completely blind run. And I've gotten pretty good at Stormy Ascent, seeing as I've played it quite a few times. I have played it a number of times after which I recorded that episode. And I gotta say, this level is still, so far, the hardest one in the trilogy for me. So if that curious, thank you, but also, screw you. Just kidding, I love you guys. But it's kind of interesting that they decided to make a brand new level. I'm not sure what inspired them to do this, but I'm okay with this. I think it worked out for the better. It's nice to see a brand new level, and it, of course, gives me high hopes that Vicarious Visions is going to make another game. Like a brand new Crash game, that would just be amazing. They've already proven themselves very well with the Sane Trilogy. Oh, another topic. I spoke of this in my Banjo-Kazooie Let's Play, but Spyro Reignited Trilogy is a thing. It's almost here. It's the end of June, almost July. And it's coming in September, and that's being handled by Toys for Bob, which was the team that created the Skylanders franchise, which a lot of people don't know this about me, but I actually am a big fan of the Skylanders series. I think they're very fun games. But Vicarious Visions also made Skylander games, and they made my 2 favorite in the series. But Toys for Bob actually handled the Nintendo Switch port of the Sane Trilogy. And I gotta say, for a game that's technically downgraded from the original, it looks really good. They took a lot of the fur detail off of Crash, and so now his model kind of reminds me of his PlayStation 1 model, and technically that should bother me because, you know, now he kind of looks like he's made out of a sort of hard plastic, but I don't mind. I get very nostalgic looking at it. I've got nothing against it whatsoever. It's a nice little touch. But again, the Switch version, it looks really good, I must admit. It looks really, really good. And on top of that, the PC version runs at 60 frames per second, only version to do that. And wow, it is really, really jarring to see the game run at 60 frames. I'm surprised the PlayStation 4 version and the Xbox version can only run at 30. The Switch I can understand. But why the PS4 and the Xbox One versions can't run at 60 as well is strange. But man, does it look great, and I can't wait to see the modding community and what they can do. I mean, I bought the Switch version because portability of having the original trilogy is such a nice touch. Also, there's Fake Crash again. He's dancing over there. Yeah, they added him in the future tense. We get it, Vicarious. You like Fake Crash. But yes, I bought the Switch version because the idea of having the original trilogy in the palm of my hand, being able to take it anywhere, that's just too big of an appeal to pass up. I mean, I've already sunk a ridiculous amount of time into the PlayStation 4 version, but now I'm going to be sinking a ridiculous amount of time into the Switch version as well. So yeah, I double dipped. And I'll triple dip if the modding community does this game some serious justice on the PC. Because they've already ripped the models. Yeah, they're in the Steam Workshop, and people have already been doing a couple of things with them. So that's exciting. So I'm just waiting, anticipating. I think it would be so cool to see what they can mod. I'd like to see some levels from Wrath of Cortex, or Twin Sanity, or maybe even see somebody take the engine and recreate Vicarious's other Crash games like The Huge Adventure and Entranced with these graphics. I think it would be so cool. But I'm getting onto a tangent. Let's talk about future tense a little bit more. Look at this right here. There's a lot of times where you have to climb up and you have to go left, which is uncommon. Uncommon to have linear left pathways in a Crash game. Kind of unique. But yeah, this level is actually really hard, and because there's a death route, you can't die on your way up to it, so you gotta be careful. I mean, that thing was hard to reach without taking any damage or dying. And then the death route does stuff like that TNT bouncing over the pits. Like, that stuff is crazy. And speaking of crazy, this bonus round stumped me for at least 5 minutes. I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to properly do it. It's almost as hard as the one from Stormy Ascent. Yeah, that one. The one with Embryo. The really, really hard one. This one is hard as well. I can't tell if I found this one harder, or maybe the one from Stormy Ascent is harder. I don't know. But yeah, nice to get a new level. So I'm hoping that, you know, now that Vicarious has finished porting the game to the Xbox One and PC, that maybe while Toys for Bob is handling Spyro, maybe Vicarious can be working on a new Crash game, because, I mean, I don't see why Crash wouldn't come back, you know? I mean, the Insane Trilogy sold really well. Like, it sold like hotcakes. So I would say that the appeal for Crash to come back is strong and definitely worth it. So, you know, Vicarious, Activision, let's make it happen. There's the appeal. Seriously. Please. I just want to see Crash live and thrive again. The remakes are nice, and I'm happy to have them, but I need a new Crash game. Same goes for Spyro. If Toys for Bob sells Reignited Trilogy like hotcakes, I'm gonna need to see a new Spyro game afterwards. Please. But anyways, we're getting close to the end of the level. This part is really stupid. Like, it's really difficult if you're just trying to do the actual platforming, or you can just do the Death Tornado spin and call it a day. You can make it over the entire thing, I must stress that. That's a mistake that I made, was not realizing that I could do that, and that led to quite a few deaths. Have I mentioned this level is really hard? Because, it's really hard. And that crate down there, by the way, that's not very nice. That is a troll move right there. But anyways, boom, 2 more gems. So we got ourselves all the gems. I did not do the relic run in recording, but I did do it post-recording, and it was really, really hard. The platinum time is 52.12 seconds. Like that's just okay. That's a lot. But yeah. That's it. That is everything that I've wanted to talk about in the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. It's been a fun ride, you know? A year-long project. And I think it turned out really well. This was the first time I ever did a post-commentary Let's Play series, and if I'm being honest here, it's kind of more fun to do it this way than doing live. Yeah, live you get the reactions when they happen, but I feel like when I do these runs with post-commentary, I can gather my thoughts more and share more of my experiences with these games, because I don't have to worry about concentrating on the game and the commentary at the same time, when I can just concentrate on one followed by the other. So I think for the sake of the Crash Let's Play series, I'm going to keep this style. I like it. But that's it. That's everything I've wanted to talk about. The original Crash Trilogy has come to a close. Unless Vicarious Visions adds another DLC level. But until then, that's it. I have done everything that I have wanted to do. The next time we'll be jumping into the Crash Bandicoot universe. We'll be jumping back to the good old PlayStation 1 for what I consider to be the greatest racing game of all time. I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful night. Take care.